Welcome to the Horror Vault channel. We bring you the most unbelievable stories that will leave you wide-eyed wanting more. Subscribe now and hit the like button to join in the fun. But remember, once you've signed up, there's no turning back.
I used to work the night shift at a small motel on the outskirts of town. It wasn't the best job, but I needed the extra money to make ends meet. One night a mysterious guest checked in, and that's when things started to take a creepy turn. The guest, a tall man with a long, unkempt beard, always wore a tattered coat and carried a worn-out suitcase. He never spoke much and seemed to avoid eye contact. Whenever he walked through the lobby, there was an eerie silence, as if the air itself held its breath. As the weeks went by, I noticed a pattern. Every night, exactly at midnight, the guest would leave his room and head towards the nearby forest. It was strange, but I didn't think much of it at first. That is until I started hearing rumors about missing persons in the area. One stormy night, curiosity got the better of me. I decided to follow the guest and see where he was going. I quietly trailed him as he walked through the darkness, his suitcase clutched tightly in his hand. The rain poured down, drenching me to the bone, but I was determined to uncover the truth. After what felt like an eternity, we arrived at a secluded cabin hidden deep within the woods. The guest opened the door with a rusty key and disappeared inside. I hesitated for a moment, but mustered the courage to enter. The interior of the cabin was dimly lit, and an unsettling smell lingered in the air. As I cautiously explored the rooms, I stumbled upon a horrifying sight. The walls were adorned with photographs of missing people, their eyes crossed out with red marker. My heart raced as I realized the truth: the guest was a serial killer. Just as panic began to consume me, I heard a creaking sound behind me. I turned around to find the guest standing in the doorway, his eyes gleaming with a sinister glint. I froze, unable to move or scream. He slowly raised his hand, revealing a blood-stained knife. In that moment, survival instincts kicked in, and I darted past him, sprinting through the pouring rain. I ran as fast as my legs could carry me, praying that I would make it back to the safety of the motel. The sound of his laughter echoed through the night, sending chills down my spine. I reached the motel, breathless and terrified. I locked the doors and called the police, recounting every detail of what I had witnessed. They arrived swiftly and rushed to the cabin, only to find it empty. The guest had vanished without a trace, leaving behind a trail of unsolved mysteries. That night changed me forever. I quit my job at the motel and moved away, haunted by the memory of that sinister guest. To this day, I wonder how many lives he had taken and if justice will ever be served. I've had my fair share of experiences at the old motel on the outskirts of town. It wasn't for work or anything, but rather a result of my curious nature. My friends and I would often venture out there late at night when we were in our late teens, seeking excitement and a thrill. We were the adventurous ones, always looking for unconventional ways to spend our time. The motel, with its crumbling facade and eerie atmosphere, held a certain allure for us. We would stay up until the early hours, exploring the empty rooms and abandoned hallways, fueled by a mix of fascination and apprehension. Looking back, we were probably just a bunch of foolish youngsters, trying to find excitement in the most unlikely places. One fateful night, as the clock struck midnight, my friends and I arrived at the motel. The moon shone faintly through the tattered curtains as we cautiously entered the dimly lit lobby. We crept down the creaking hallway, our hearts pounding with a blend of excitement and unease. As we explored each room, the ambience grew increasingly eerie. The air was heavy with the scent of decay and forgotten memories. The faded wallpaper peeled off the walls, revealing the motel's long-forgotten secrets. We couldn't help but imagine the stories that each room held, the whispers of past guests echoing through the corridors. As we delved deeper into the maze-like structure, we stumbled upon a room unlike the others. Its door stood ajar, beckoning us to venture inside. With a mix of trepidation and curiosity, we cautiously pushed open the door and entered the dimly lit space. The room seemed frozen in time, trapped in a perpetual state of abandonment. Dust covered the worn furniture, and the air hung heavy with an eerie silence. We exchanged nervous glances, unsure of what secrets this room held. Suddenly, a chill ran down my spine, and I felt a presence in the room. I turned around to find a figure standing in the corner, its eyes gleaming in the darkness. A wave of fear washed over us as the figure slowly approached, its movements hauntingly graceful. Panicking, we scrambled to find an exit. The once familiar halls now seemed like a labyrinth, with no clear path to safety. We could hear the figure's footsteps growing closer, echoing through the desolate corridors. With adrenaline pumping through our veins, we sprinted through the dimly lit hallways, desperately searching for an escape. The motel seemed to conspire against us, leading us deeper into its twisted web of mystery. Finally, we burst through the main entrance, gasping for breath. The cold night air filled our lungs as we stumbled away from the motel, vowing never to return. The memories of that night would forever haunt our dreams, a chilling reminder of the darkness that can lurk within abandoned places. That old motel held more secrets than we could have ever imagined. It was a place where reality blended with the supernatural, and our youthful curiosity led us into a world of darkness and uncertainty. It was an experience that would stay with us for the rest of our lives, a reminder of the dangers that lie hidden in the forgotten corners of the world. During a cross-country road trip, I found myself driving through a desolate stretch of highway in Nevada. It was getting late, and I decided it was time to find a place to rest for the night. I spotted a small motel on the side of the road called Desert Sands Motel and pulled into the empty parking lot. As I walked into the dimly lit lobby, a musty smell filled the air. An elderly woman sat behind the reception desk, barely looking up from her crossword puzzle as I approached. I asked if they had any available rooms for the night, and she nodded without uttering a word. Not the friendliest welcome, but I was too tired to be picky. She handed me an old-fashioned key with a worn-out tag and pointed me towards my room at the end of the building. The hallway was eerily quiet, and the flickering lights added to the unsettling atmosphere. As I entered the room, a chill ran down my spine. The faded wallpaper, creaky floors, and outdated furniture gave the place an uncanny feel. I tried to shrug off my uneasiness and settled onto the lumpy bed. Just as I was about to drift off to sleep, I heard a faint scratching noise coming from the bathroom. My heart skipped a beat as I slowly approached the source of the sound. With trembling hands, I pushed open the door to reveal a swarm of cockroaches scurrying across the floor. Disgusted, I quickly shut the door and decided I wouldn't be using the bathroom for the rest of the night. Feeling increasingly uncomfortable, I tried to distract myself by turning on the TV. To my dismay, the screen displayed nothing but static. Frustrated, I decided to forget about entertainment and closed my eyes, hoping for a few hours of rest. In the middle of the night, I was jolted awake by a loud banging on the door. Startled, I cautiously approached the peephole and saw a disheveled man standing outside, pleading for help. He claimed his car had broken down and asked if he could use my phone. Something about his frantic demeanor sent chills down my spine, and I decided it was safer to ignore his pleas. As the minutes passed, The banging grew more persistent, and the man's desperate voice echoed through the thin walls. I reached for my phone to call the front desk, but realized I had no signal. Panic started to set in as I considered my options. Suddenly, the noise ceased, and an eerie silence enveloped the room. I cautiously peered through the blinds, but there was no sign of the man. Relieved, I double-checked the door lock and tried to calm my racing heart. Exhausted and on edge, I managed to drift back to sleep, only to be awakened by a peculiar sensation. I opened my eyes to find a shadowy figure looming over me, inches from my face. My voice caught in my throat as the intruder whispered, "Don't move or make a sound if you want to live." Trembling, I complied with the intruder's demands as he rummaged through my belongings. He snatched my wallet and demanded any other valuables I had. Fear gripped me as I watched him disappear into the darkness, leaving me paralyzed with shock. As soon as he was gone, I mustered the strength to lock the door and called the police. They arrived swiftly, but by then, the intruder had vanished without a trace. The motel's security cameras offered no clear footage of his face, leaving the mystery unresolved. Shaken to my core, I checked out of the motel as soon as dawn broke, vowing never to stay in such a place again. The experience served as a harsh reminder of the dangers that can lurk in seemingly ordinary motels along the open road. From that day forward, I always prioritized safety and thoroughly researched my accommodations before embarking on any journey.